Hello, we're here and we are in this week's daily races and we are beginning with race A, which is in the Porsche 911 Turbo at Tokyo. Deadly Tokyo. I didn't have a bad race. I mean, I did have one incident, but we will get to that very shortly. So yeah, this week's races. Yeah, it's like we're taking on Japan here. Because they're all Japanese-based tracks. But you can see I qualified in 6th place. So, you know, average qualifying. So, see how we do. I can't remember what my qualifying lap was, what time it was, I can't remember now. I know it wasn't, I know my qualifying time wasn't the best, I know that much. So yeah, this car, bit of a slidey bugger, I will grant you. It's a very slidey bugger. So we do have traction control running on for this one because, again, it's very easy to lose the back end on this. So you can see here, Boosh. Now unfortunately, I hit the Polish guy. He crashed into the wall. So unfortunately that was my fault. Now, here's the thing. Okay, the reason why that crash happened is because there was two people in front of me, and you know they kind of bumped into each other, which then slowed them down. So then I had to slow down to avoid hitting the German who was in front of me. And fortunately, it was my error that I didn't brake enough. So I kind of slightly tapped the German. Kind of threw the car off balance a little bit. I went to try and go a little bit to the outside just to sort of get out from behind him. And unfortunately, I just didn't see the Polish guy coming up from my right. I bumped into him, and unfortunately, caused him to crash into the wall. So the Polish guy crashed into the wall, completely on my hands, completely and utterly my fault. That happened. But here's the thing I don't get. You know, I slightly tapped the wall on the corners. You know, a little bit of a tap, a little bit of a scrape, and I get a 5-second penalty. I caused the driver to smash into a wall, and I get nothing for it. No penalty or anything. Even though personally, due to the crash that I caused, because of my mistake, I should have got a penalty. But I didn't. But I slightly tap and scrape a wall, and I get 5 seconds. I know why I got another half a second put on to my 5-second penalty. It's because I kind of cut the chicane a little bit there, so that was fair enough. But I should have got a penalty. Personally, I should have got a penalty for causing the Polish driver to crash into the wall, but I didn't get one. So it's another reason why, you know, it's kind of strange how I didn't get a penalty for that, even though I should have had a penalty for that. But that crash involving the Polish guy, though the initial cause to the crash was not an error of mine, but the aftermath was my error. I made a misjudgment, so completely on my hands, that crash. So I've served one penalty, and I've now dropped down to 7th, considering I think I was in 4th. So, you know, I've dropped a few positions, unfortunately, but you know, I can always make them back up. So apart from that little incident earlier on the rate, that first incident, I think after this, the racing does, well, at least for me anyway, does become a little bit smoother. But almost taking off there. No penalty this time for that one. So let's see what we can do. So as you did see on the second lap at the penalty zone, there was a lot of penalties. But see, this is where the issue with Tokyo comes in. Is that it is so easy to get a penalty on this track. Because you don't even have to fully smash into the wall to get a penalty. You can just get away. It can just happen by you tapping the wall and scraping it a little bit, and you get a penalty. You know, so it's a bit. The penalties in this are very, personally, I think are a bit harsh. To be honest, they are a bit harsh on this. So setting the purple sector there. Still 7th, so I haven't really gained any positions, but setting the purple sector, so I'm keeping at a good pace. But, you know, got some close racing going on here, so let's see what happens. So yeah, so the German who's in front of me now was the one who I came into contact with, who was the one who I had to sort of slow down because of, but it wasn't because of. But the crash with the Polish guy wasn't his fault. I'm not going to say, oh, he was the cause of it. No, the crash with the Polish guy was my fault. But there, another incident there with the another English driver. I think his name was like Flash Tabs or something like that. I think his name was. So incident with him. Unfortunately, what happened there is just basically he turned in a little bit too tightly on the wall. On sitting one of the corners, made contact with the wall, and unfortunately the German, I think his name is like Gan G, so I'm just going to call him Gan, was pretty much right behind him, and there was a little bit of contact between them two, and unfortunately Flash Tabs basically lost control of the car. So, you know, it's a pretty self-explanatory incident. But I have managed to climb back up the 4th, setting a fastest lap of a 1:56. So, going on to the final lap now. Got very few people in front of me who've got penalties. So, so I managed to climb my way back up, and due to these people having penalties, means I could possibly climb a bit higher. But it just depends on, do I do anything stupid? Oh, anything else stupid. Let's see what we can do. Around the hairpin, nah. But yeah, I did run traction control on with this car because, as I said earlier on in the video, the back end on this is very easy for it to just. It could be a very leery back end. So I did decide to run this a little bit of traction control. So thanks to those two people in front of me having penalties, I managed to get up into second. I think first place also did have a penalty, but I think his penalty in the end was a very short penalty. So, but I'm not actually massively far away from first place. So technically, getting first place isn't really directly out of the question. It just depends on if first place, or I think his name was like, so it's like Bumper Cam Bob. It depends on if he makes a mistake anyway. But in the end, he doesn't make a mistake. No. But do I make a mistake? Costing me second place. So let's go around the last corner. On the straight. So I managed to bring home second place. At the end of all of that. And also at the end of that race, I did also have the fastest lap out of everyone on track. But yeah, that incident at the hairpin, completely my fault. I made a misjudgment, I made an error. And unfortunately, the Polish driver did pay for it, unfortunately. Though I should have paid for it for an extension for a penalty, which I didn't get for some reason. So now, on to race 2. Alright, now we're at Kyoto. At Yamagiwa. There will be an incident analysis on an incident later on in the video from this race. It will be the only incident analysis because a lot of the other ones are very, very easily explainable. The one that was on this one, as I will explain later on, is also quite easily explainable, but I wanted to do an analysis on it just to see if other people have a different opinion on it to what my opinion on it was. But as you can see, I qualified in 13th, so I didn't have a great qualifier. The dominating car for this was the Supra, but I wanted to be different, so I decided to go for the BMW Z4. Which myself, I don't think it's a bad car. It's not a terrible car by any means. Probably go a little bit deep in there, but I don't lose any positions. So not a massive error at the end of it. Just unfortunately just went in a little bit deep, a little bit fast. But yeah, with the instant later on, the person we will be wanting to keep an eye on is the driver in the McLaren in front of me, Fran Lago, whatever you want to call him. So someone just go off there, so I do manage to climb up into 12th. Now I don't know what was going on with this Spanish guy behind me. I think it's like his name's like Fian or something like that. I'm not totally sure. Flan? I think it's Flan. Now, I know his internet connection during this race wasn't great, so you will see that he's jumping about a bit, like he's very sporadic a little bit. But what I don't get is that he had plenty of opportunities to overtake me, but he never did. But I don't know if that's because on his end, I was very jumpy and that. Now that's the instance right there, but we will look at that later on in the incident analysis. But going back to Flan, I don't know if he didn't overtake me because on his end, I was very jumpy, like left, right, jumpy kind of thing. So he didn't really know when to overtake me. I'm not really 100% sure. But due to that incident, and I think and Fran Lago serving a penalty, I do manage to climb into 8th place. So I'm climbing up the field. As we are now on the second lap. Going up to the fast section. And I got it. I almost take off. Managed to keep control of the car. I set a new purple sector. Not too shabby at the moment. Not doing too shabby. Originally I thought this was actually going to be the Yamagiwa and the Miyabi together. Another purple sector for me. Unfortunately, going a bit too deep there, going a bit too fast. Do cut the corner, but I don't get a penalty for that. Again, should I get a penalty? Maybe. Because I did cut the corner there, but unfortunately the reason for cutting the corner was because unfortunately I was going into the corner too quickly. Another purple sector. But I don't know if personally, I think some people will say that I should have got a penalty there. Some people will probably be like, nah, you shouldn't have got a penalty because it was an honest racing mistake. But so I suppose really for me there, another lucky escape really. So we do manage to keep 8th place. So I get all those purple sectors, and I don't get the fastest lap. But it probably didn't help by the fact that I made a mistake, on the second lap. Now on to the penultimate lap. Again with the S section, going up. This time, no taking off. A bit of a smoother S section this time. So no purple sector, but I am still faster than on my previous lap. Round we go. So there is a bit of a gap between me and 7th now, and I've still got Flan behind me. He just doesn't seem to be taking any opportunities to overtake, even though I have been making a couple of small mistakes here and there. But as you can see, he is quite laggy. As you can see, he is quite laggy. So I don't know if that's the reason why he never tried to overtake. Because on his end, I would be the one who would seem quite laggy. But as you can see, German now going off there. So I managed to overtake and climb up in the 7th. And now a second faster than my previous lap. So I'm getting faster. So I've still got, but I can still lose a few positions here. I got Fran Largo not too far behind me, the dodgy guy. In my opinion, he was a very dodgy driver. I mean, okay, my driving hasn't been the smoothest either, I will grant you, but I mean, at least mine was just honest. Mine were just mistakes. Mine wasn't nothing intentional. But I set myself a new fastest lap there. Not the fastest lap in the race, but a new fastest lap for me of a 1:37.5, I believe. So S section for the last time. Again, no taking off this time. Now you can see I got six. Six is within earshot. Maybe even fifth. It's also maybe within earshot. But I need them to make a mistake really for me to be able to catch up. I need them to make a mistake because I'm not close enough to make a move. So let's just see what we can do in the last few corners. Going up to the hairpin for the last time. How do we do? Turning a bit tight, a little bit tight there. I think I slowed down a little bit more there. I think in the end, because I think if I carried on, I just would have went straight off. So that was probably a little bit costly for me catching up. But there are still room for errors that these people may make. Drivers may make them. Unfortunately, they don't make them. they don't make any errors. So I come home in 7th place, starting in 13th, and get myself up to 7th. So not too bad. But yeah, that incident on the first lap, we will go through that later on in the incident analysis. But again, it will be the only incident analysis in this video, because it's the only one I think is worth actually looking into a bit more. So on to the final race at Suzuka. Alright, so here we are at Suzuka in the, what is basically the new Mazda Miata, or MX-5, or Unos Roadster. It all depends on where you're from, will depend on what you bloody call it. So this one was actually my second time doing this race, because I did it first time round, and as you can see I started 14th, so my qualifying was pretty, or at least for this race, was pretty bad. My qualifying for the race before wasn't that great either. But unfortunately my first race, I made a mistake, went wide, lost 2 positions, my mistake, and then I get punted off after that by another driver, basically causing me to fall back down even further and just not really being able to recover. But also because I forgot to save the replay of the race, so I had to do it again to get the replay for this video. So you can see I'm trying to figure out what the fuck hell I'm doing, where the hell am I going. I gotta go on the outside. I don't really have that many places to go. I get a little nudge from the Norwegian there, unfortunately, and unfortunately due to that, just that little nudge, I sort of had to sort of run wide a bit, fortunately, get myself a half-second penalty. But stuff like that will happen in close racing. There will always be little knocks, little nudges. Then it gets a little bit squiffy, but then, you know, it all clears up a little bit. But there was a lot. But I'm also quite happy I kind of forgot to save the replay of the first race, so then had to do it again to get this replay. It's because the racing in this one was much closer. I would say it was a lot closer in this one, and that was a good thing about this race, that there was a lot of close racing. So I managed to somehow get on the inside of the Spanish guy there and climb up in position. But as you can see, we're all still very close together, a lot of us. So close racing, good. It's good close racing, but also there's also the risk of things going horribly wrong. Which, lucky enough, at least from my point of view, in my race, yeah, there was a couple of errors that I made, a couple of little tiny mistakes into like taking some of the corners, but all in all, it was still pretty good close race. So 7 penalty. And I may have lost like a couple of positions. Maybe I didn't see what position I was in before serving the penalty. So if I have lost any, I've lost like maybe like 1 or 2 positions maybe. But now unfortunately I've dropped down to 15th. Oh dear. So let's see what we can do. Now back up the Spanish guy again. Now you can see still very close racing. And obviously trying to keep it clean as well. So thanks to this race in the end being actually relatively quite a clean race, quite good, clean and also close racing, I have managed to get my sportsmanship rating back up to S, which was another aim of mine whilst doing this week's daily races. Now, I took myself on the inside, managed to get past James there, who's unfortunately got himself a 5-second penalty. Not so sure what for. I can only guess he maybe came into contact so on and then that person went off maybe. But I did do some racing against James, and so I don't think that the reason why he got his penalty wasn't a intentional crash. I think it was just an accidental crash. Unfortunately he got himself a 5-second penalty because of it. Because I did race against James a little bit, and he seemed to actually try and be kind of as clean as he could. So I don't think James did anything intentional to anyone there. But I have managed to climb at the 13th. And you can still see, still very close racing between very few of us. So I'm like, screw this. Now, Spanish guy, very slow through there. And I managed to pull off the exact same move as I did against him on the exact same corner, but on the second lap instead of the first lap. So I don't know if he just struggles on that corner, or if he just made mistakes somewhere and he was going too fast, so he had to slow down a bit more. Maybe, I don't know. But I pull off the exact same move on him, and so I get myself up at the top. So let's see if we can gain any more positions, because we're still in the lead shot, getting some good positions. Because I think you got 8th, 9th, 10th. You got 9, 10, 11 in front of me. I got, I think, yeah, 8th and 9th aren't too far ahead either. You know, so like between like 8 and 15, we're all within like a good earshot of each other. Like, so it's like it's very easy for any one of us to gain a few positions here and a few positions there. It's very easy for us to do that. So yeah, coming up onto the end of the second lap and coming onto it on 12th place. A bit of coffee. So, and see, 7th and 6th aren't too far away either. And we're only 3 laps in, so you know it's all like there's still chance for very good positions for a fair few of us actually. So coming up to the X section again. Some of them, sometimes when I did it, it was quite smooth. Other times, not as smooth. You can see, but yeah, you can see now. So like 13th and 14th have dropped off a little bit now. So now it's like between basically 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. You know, we're all still pretty close to each other. And we all do seem to be racing quite cleanly and quite smoothly. I mean, there may be like a few bits of splattering of door-to-door contact and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what happens sometimes in racing. So let's see, can I pull another move at the hairpin, considering I'm quite far back? Kind of. I don't really so much pull a move, but I managed to utilise that to actually catch up a little tiny bit. I think I have dropped off again a bit now, but I did manage to catch up a little bit and then obviously drop off a little bit, so it's kind of like, eh. So now so I'm talking about let's talk about the delivery design very quickly, because why not? I'm sorry to go for a bit of a berserk-based livery for my MX-5. For those who don't know what berserk is, it's a Japanese anime or a Japanese manga, and it's quite violent. So, yeah, why not? So there, I could have possibly went for a move on a long fast left-hander, but I decided to hold back just to avoid potentially causing any incidents. And then, but still managed to use it to catch up with the people in front of me. Yeah. So we're all pretty close. So I'm gonna try and go. I'm thinking about here going on for the inside, try and make a move on the inside. But in the end, I decided to pull out because I just wasn't close. I just wasn't gaining up enough, close enough to be able to pull off that move. So fortunately, I had to fall back a little bit. So I don't manage to gain any positions there. But we're all still racing quite cleanly. But 8th and 9th managed to put, not 8th and 9th, so like 8th. Now, I have suddenly gained a position, but I don't remember overtaking anybody there, so I've got a funny feeling somebody in front left. Which I didn't actually realise that during the race. I didn't actually realise that. I've only just realised it now. So, yeah. So, due to someone in front leaving, managed to get up into 11th place. Thanks to a bit of luck there. But as you can see, we're all starting to get very close to each other again now. Yeah, so like 5th and 6th aren't massively far ahead. Probably about, I don't know, about 3 seconds? About 3 seconds? They're only about 3 seconds ahead. So like 5th and 6th are only about 3 seconds. So we're still pretty close. And we're about halfway through the race. A little bit more than halfway through the race. And it's still pretty close. But also been very good, pretty smooth driving. So let's see if I can make a challenge again on a long left-hander, because obviously I've got some people behind me. There's a little bit of a scuffle there between I think Baby Driver, the French driver, Norwegian. I think his name's like Estrel. Unfortunately, I do run a bit wide there. Unfortunately, don't lose any positions, but I do unfortunately run a bit wide. But managed to keep my position of 11th. Unfortunately, a little bit of contact between me and Estrel there. But for some reason, he was almost at a standstill on that chicane. And he tries to go for a dirt move on Baby Driver. Completely fucks himself over. And falls back. But yeah, he was almost at a standstill on that chicane. So that's why there was a bit of contact between me and him now. Why he was almost at a standstill, I have no idea. English driver there, Hills, runs a bit wide. So I've now managed to get up to 9th. So all in all, so far in this whole entire race, I've managed to climb up basically 5 positions. All in all in the end, so far. But now it's a question of, can I keep 9th? Because the Italian behind me, I think his name's Dormi, or Dormi Doro, or something like that, but I'm just going to call him Dormi. Though our lap times were very similar, I think he was always just like a few tenths of a second faster. So he was a little bit faster, a little bit of a faster driver than I was, a little bit around the track. So unfortunately, I run a bit wide there, going a bit too deep, and there's no point in me trying to fend off there. So I just allow Dormy to go by because I can't fend him off at that point. A bit more coffee. So do drop down to 10th, but I'll still keep behind Dormy, and we have Baby Driver in 8th place. So technically 8th place is still within earshot. Let's have a look. Let's see what happens with spoons. No tragic accidents. Nope, no tragic accidents. We've got Domi Deru, that's his name, Domi Deru. So we're just going to call him Domi. I'm just going to call him Dormy. I started calling him Dormy. He's going to continue to be Dormy now. So thinking about trying to get in the slipstream with Dormy here, but just not gaining the speed, so just stay behind him. And trying to see if I can pull something off in the chicane. But unfortunately not really. So still stuck behind. But unfortunately he makes a bit of an error. Runs a bit wide. So I'm able to get back into ninth. So now I'm going to try and catch up with Baby Driver. Yeah, 5th, 6th and 7th at this point. I've pulled out a bit ahead. So though it's still possible to catch him, it's going to be obviously a lot harder to catch him. So let's see if we can catch up with 8th place and take 8th from Baby Driver. See the S sections, most of the time I would think I went through there quite smoothly. Yeah, there was the odd occasion where I was going to be a little bit too fast or something like that maybe, but I think all in all, S section was pretty smooth for me on pretty much most of the laps. But I still got Dormy a little bit behind me. There is a bit of a gap, so, but again, he was a slightly faster driver than me, so he could easily, or relatively easily, bring that gap down. Unfortunately, I go a bit wide there again, just a little bit too much speed, but Dormy does the same thing. So, do I learn from that mistake in the next lap? I think I'm a little bit wide there. I think a little bit sort of like wide on the exit of the hairpin there. I think so. Probably wasn't the best hairpin for me there either. But that's the reason why, because there was a point where I wasn't actually that far behind Baby Driver. Then obviously now the gap between me and Baby Driver is opening up quite a bit. He did actually ask me at the end of the race what happened. Because I think he realised that I started to fall back quite a bit from him, because in that one part I was kind of very much near behind him. I didn't reply because I was just on the verge of leaving at that point. But Baby Driver, if by some chance you are watching this, now you can see why I kind of dropped off in the end. I was just making silly little mistakes, basically. That's all it was in the end. It was just I was just making silly little mistakes, and obviously, evidently, did cost me a bit of time here and there. But I'm still in close race with Dormy, or Domi. I'm going to call him Dormy. But I'm still managed to hold him off. But we're coming up to a long straight now, so he's obviously going to have the advantage with that slipstream. He takes inside, and I'm thinking, do I try and outbrake him? Do I not? I think, no, I'm not gonna try and do anything stupid. Obviously this one I'm still trying to get my SR up to S during the race, but after this race it goes up to S. So I'm thinking, I'm not gonna do anything stupid. But also at the same time, he did have the inside line as well, so it was like, okay, he's got the inside line. He is more likely going to pass me there, so box, in which obviously he did. So unfortunately, I do drop back down to 10th. But that's the thing with this race, for example. Though my position at the moment is not the best position, but do I learn? Yes, I do learn. But yeah, though my position in this race is not the best, I'm a 10th out of 15, so it's not the best position. You know, I'm not up there with the high people, a bit deep in the hairpin there. I still had fun with this race, and I still think it was a good race, because there was a lot of close racing. And when there was close racing, people tried to be as clean and as smooth as they could. Yeah, there was a bit of rubbing and a bit of door-to-door contact kind of thing, but in close racing, that's going to happen. But all in all, in my perspective, from my race anyway, at least, a lot of the close racing was done as smoothly and as cleanly as people could. So even though my position is not the highest, I still had fun with this race. So I'm thinking here, do I take him out? I'm kind of catching up. But I'm just didn't have enough speed there. So fortunately, I don't take ninth from Dormy. Now, unfortunately, at this point, someone's knocked over the 100 meter board. So that's why, for example, Dormy made a mistake there, because someone knocked over the 100 meter board. So there wasn't the best reference there for the braking. So it was kind of sort of like you had to kind of guess where the braking was. At that point, it was like brake now. Look, I was looking, I got it kind of right. But unfortunately, Dormy wasn't as lucky, and unfortunately, he did run a little bit wide. And then he runs wide there. Now, I don't know if that was because of James, or if it was just because he was trying to overtake James on the outside and just caught the Astro a little bit. I'm not 100% sure, because there was no contact between them, because obviously because James doesn't have a penalty. So now I got James right at my ass, who was actually pretty much right behind me very early on in the race. So he's right up my arse again. But you know, it looks like he's trying to pick his point carefully to overtake. So unfortunately, it's not here. Now he's literally right behind me. Now, unfortunately, there was a little tiny bit of contact between me and James there. It just ran me wide. Now, I don't know if he slowed down a bit more there to allow me to re-overtake, because he came into contact with me, which caused me to go wide. So he was like, "I'm gonna let you re-overtake to get your position back, and then I'll try and overtake you again." Or if it was just because he also was going quite slow through that corner at that point, because of the contact, and unfortunately I was just able to gain the speed back. Not 100% sure. He did apologise. He did apologise after the race. You know, sent the obviously tagged me in a message and said I'm sorry, and obviously I replied, said look, no worries, because you know, didn't cause any major incident. Now unfortunately there, James just clips the Astro with his back wheels, and unfortunately just loses control of the car. Unfortunately there. And then Dormy there just goes wide. We still don't have the braking references, like kind of guess when to brake. Again, I may have braked there a little bit early. I'll probably broke earlier than needed, same with the last time. But all in all, come home in 9th place. But yeah, it was just an unfortunate little incident with James on the last lap, but it was no harm, no foul. He said sorry, I said no worries, mate. So all in all, 9th place at the end of that, and that's it for this week's races. Alright, so we are with which is going to be the only incident analysis this week, because as I explained earlier on in the video, with the other little incidents that there were, they were very easily explainable, and this one, though this one is also very easily explainable, I just want to show this one off because this Fran Largo guy was, I don't know, a bit of a dick really. I mean, he didn't cause me any problems, but you'll see that he was a bit like who was driving. So he's already got half a second penalty, but that's probably just from cutting a corner somewhere, more than likely. So I'm gonna start playing it now. So coming up to the hairpin here, crash into him. Okay, first crash could be an innocent, like, not breaking a bit later. Second crash, not intentional. And then you got all this happens. It's just you got like 3 people going off there. So it's like, so in the hairpin, when he hits the Tony the first time round, there that could be just an innocent. Maybe he just broke a little bit later than Tony, or maybe Tony broke a little bit later or a little bit too early. You know what I mean, sort of thing. So the first like bit of contact, yeah, could be an innocent mistake. The second one, not so much. And then it's just, for some reason, he goes at loggerheads with Tony. So it's just like, he goes like that. Tony's on the inside. There's contact. There's lots of contact. So much contact. Look, bang, bang. 3 guys go off. They're all off. Obviously, the game sees him as the cause. Gives him the 3-second penalty and thing. So, yeah, personally myself, in my opinion, so, you know, let's go to Tony, for example. See, personally myself, I think Fran Lago is the issue in this pile-up. But I could be wrong, and it could be that Tony was the problem. So you can see he's on the inside. Fran Lago goes out. He gets pushed over by Fran Lago. Comes back on. So you know he gets pushed over by Fran Lago. He gets pushed. Goes on the grass a little bit. Tries to come back on a little bit. Now I don't know if the contact between Fran Lago and him on the second time round was anything intentional or not. I don't know, but you can see, you know, it's just like gets hit. He goes off. Tries to get back on. It's like Fran Lago just basically just no regard, really, to be honest. But then he gets a penalty, but that's probably because he hit into someone, which then caused that person to go off. But obviously it wasn't, and then obviously he leaves because he gets frustrated because of that. So, yeah, myself, I think, yeah, personally myself, I think the Fran Lago guy was the issue in all of that. But you know, let me know what you think in the comments below. But in my opinion, anyway, but it's just my opinion, is Fran Lago was the problem. But do you think that Tony was either the problem or was also an issue in that, basically? But no, but let me know in the comments what you think. Myself, I think it's Fran Lago, but it could have been a bit of both. It could easily be put onto the blame onto both of them. Yeah. But that's it for this video. So please remember to like and subscribe, and to share this video with some of your friends. And also remember to check out my Gran Turismo Sport playlist for previous daily races, some FIA races, some other videos I've just put up there just because I can. And as always, I'll see you all at the finishing line.